Hello, everyone, and welcome to Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee Special Meeting, September 8. Roll call, please.
Committee members Cornell,
Here.
Oganessian,
Here.
Olivares,
Here.
Sananian is absent, Chair Markarian.
Here. Next item.
Next item is report of recording secretary regarding the posting of agenda. The agenda for the September 8, 2011 meeting of the CDBG Advisory Committee was posted on Thursday, September 1, 2011 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. Item 2 reports, 2A report by director.
Next item. Report.
Yes, thank you, Iris. Madam Chair, members of the CDBG Advisory Committee, the director will not be with us today. He has another meeting to attend to, so I'll be filling in for him today. There really wasn't any report by the director at this time. We do have the 2 agenda items for today. One was a tabled motion, and another one is a new motion that we'll talk about as the agenda item goes along.
Great. Thank you.
Item 3 action items. 3A, motion to approve request by Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County, NLS, for a change in scope for the fiscal year 2010-11 parking lot and traffic improvement project to the NLS roofing project, tabled from previous meeting.
Do we have a report on that?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the committee, on July 27th, staff presented a proposal by Neighborhood Legal Services of LA County, NLS, to make a modification of their fiscal year 10-11 project, and that was, again, remember, it was a parking lot improvement project which was delayed, and also at that same time it was requested that we allow the change to a roofing project because of the urgent need to do roofing and also some window improvements. The committee requested that NLS come back with some more detailed information and also a proposal, revised proposal, which we presented to the committee in our packets so that you have more information on the details of the project, the cost, and the reasons why the changes were needed. So in your packet, you do have the proposal, which staff had reviewed and looked at, and we may not get all the exact details until they really get into the construction, if this is approved, or the exact cost until it's bid out, but staff feels very comfortable with this proposal for the roofing project. Now, I do want to keep in mind that there was a subsequent change into the windows where NLS felt that this time it's better to concentrate on the roofing project, and the windows would be carried over to the new year, next fiscal year, and or they would reapply again for some funding the next round of CDBG funding request, which will come out in November of this year. So their request essentially a very good estimate of the costs for those roofing improvements, again, along with some additional details, and staff is here to answer any questions regarding the project. But again, staff has gone out there, done site visits, and reviewed the roofing improvements for this project.
Great, thank you. Anyone from Neighborhood Legal Services? Would you like to come forward? Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chairman, Committee. Thank you so much for reviewing our request today and for scheduling this meeting today. We appreciate it. I'm Lynn Hortal, Chief Financial and Operations Officer for Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County. Joining me is Arnita Garcia Velasco, Administrative Assistant to Neil Dedovitz, our Executive Director.
Thank you. Well, we have the package, and thank you for submitting a very thorough package. I'll just go to my colleagues, and would you like to talk about the submitted new application?
If I may go,
I'll start with you.
Yeah, no, I'm actually very pleased to see the packet that you submitted. I think when you came here the last time, we expressed a lot of concerns about the route you were going on. But I'm perfectly happy with the proposal. I know that staff's going to follow up with it, and so other than the fact that we need to deal amongst ourselves with change in scope, that's our issue, not yours. But I do thank you for the package because it's very complete, and I think it's what we were looking for. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Olivares.
Organization.
Yes, well, thank you very much, actually, for submitting the packet. Going back to the last session, what makes me very happy is that the safety issue of the roofing was considered first priority, and I'm glad that you guys waited on the windows for next year's. At least it makes us more comfortable and more confident in approving this.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Cornell?
Really, you pretty well described everything here. Was this the estimate of your architect, Osborne, for the roofing estimate that was down here at, what was it, 61,000 here, whatever that was?
It's a combination of the architect's estimate and a quote from a actual roofing company. The roofers did not want to break it out in the way that we were requested to break it out, supervision, that sort of thing. And so we got the architectural estimate to break out those specific costs and plan permits.
Has the architect, Osborne, have they submitted the plans yet to the building department for final sign-off, or are you still in the planning stage on that?
There's no plan checks required to replace a roof. There is a permit fee that has to be paid, but I understand that there's no plan checks to be submitted for review.
Okay.
If I've misunderstood that, please let me know, but that's what we've been advised by our architects.
And when do you have to go out for bidding on this for the roofing?
When?
Yes. When?
We're ready whenever you are. We're ready. We're ready to go.
And you're confident that the $63,000 will cover the cost of the architect as well as the repairs? I mean, that's what you're estimated, right?
Well, we're actually not paying the architects.
Oh, okay.
That was just their estimate of what this would cost, as well as looking at the bid that we had obtained at prevailing wage.
Okay.
But yes, I'm confident that we are
Okay.
within budget, absolutely.
I see the estimate here for the architect was $63,449. Okay.
Yes,
That could
and
go-
that includes a 10% contingency just in case
Contingency.
oil skyrockets or crude oil skyrockets.
Yeah. Well, the way things are going here, I see from the bids that are coming in for public works and other city jurisdictions that handle their own bidding by the city clerk, that they're very competitive and becoming below estimate, engineer's estimate. So hopefully this will hold true in your case here.
So,
I was looking through the packet here on your windows. I know you're not going to have both, but the roof comes first, and I can understand your priority because that would be mine. Have you looked into other types of windows there besides the iron, like aluminum? They have new products on the market, I think acrylic and so on. Have you looked at those? And perhaps if you have, that might reduce the cost of it a bit to be able to maybe not be able to budget in on this session, but reduce the cost from what you had submitted.
unfortunately, we've been advised that we should go with steel windows, which are the most expensive. And that's part of the reason we pulled this out. I'm not aware of acrylic windows, but we were looking at aluminum as well, which only lasts not even 25% of what steel windows would last. So we're trying to weigh that. You get the higher value out of a more sturdier window frame, and they'll last longer, 100 years plus longer, versus an aluminum 20.
And as I understand, this is going to be a separate request just for the windows, so we really don't have to discuss the window section, right?
Absolutely.
That's coming up, in your future request.
That's your
Yeah.
homework for next year.
Yeah.
But we're not certain of the exact design. That's still in progress. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't want to have to go through the same scenario, so we have to postpone it again
Right.
and have you appear before us again then.
Right. We did speak extensively with Jay Platt, and he did of the historic registry, and he did recommend that we go with steel. And our architects recommended that we went with steel, so we have to weigh that and what that will cost.
Yeah. No, I think it needs to be said. You're dealing with a special building here, and that's probably the consideration that they're giving you. So, yeah.
As I can see, we are all very thrilled with the, with the packet that you submitted. It's pretty thorough. It explains in detail. And we're changing the scope, equally both very important projects, and I think roofing is something that can be done now just to prevent future damages, especially with the rainy season coming up. So any other questions?
I just have a question for staff.
Sure.
I'm not aware that, we're only talking about the roofing replacement here or the repairs, and the scope of work is only roof related. They're not required to have a general contractor involved here, are they?
Committeeman Olivares, members of the committee, no, they're not required to have a general. A roofing contractor would be acceptable. And in fact, if you look in your packet, there's a energy-efficient cool roof that's being proposed for this. So you would have to have a fairly specialized roofing contractor do this work.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to point out is then that will be a savings to you, because they should be able, with your help, bid it out accordingly and competitively, and not have to pay the overhead and profit that goes along with somebody else being involved. So I'm glad they don't have to do that.
I'm sorry, quick question. Any idea of, you guys are ready to start as soon as possible, I understand that, but is there a time frame as how long it's going to take for this to be completed? Because winter's coming up, that's the only reason I asked that.
Well, I understand there's a 60-day waiting period for the process.
Which will put us in the middle of rainy season, and
I believe it will, yes. We have a timeline outlined in the packet, but we're looking at probably this actually taking place in December if everything moves along smoothly.
Is there the possibility that, knowing that the money now has been approved and is simply going through the process, that any of the contractors might be able to work with you in speeding it up, or whoever you select? I'm just throwing out the idea. And staff can help you with that if they can at all. I don't know.
Yes, Committee Member Olivares, members of the committee, we're going to work with NLS to get moving quickly. Our 60 days was the 30-day bidding process, and between now and signing contracts and all that, 30 days. But we want to maybe, again, depending on your recommendation today, work with them closer and get moving along quicker, and hopefully shrink that to 45, 40 days so we can get started and moving along quickly.
And what they're asking is less than what we approved, what we funded them. So the remaining would be reprogrammed back to next year's.
If that's what the committee wishes.
Right,
yes.
I'm just saying that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have to be stated in the motion, Mr. Curlo, or is that pretty much the standard policy?
Yes, it could be stated in the motion. It could be.
Motion.
Oh, it can be stated in the motion
Yeah.
then.
We don't know what the actual costs are right now, so it may be a little higher than 63 or lower. It really depends on.
So we have three facets in the motion, and to prove the change in scope, as well as to extend the deadline from this past June 30th to next year, June 30th, 2012, as well as to indicate the scope of the difference in the funds then,
Yes,
if there is.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We know that was a lot of work for you to come back and submit a different packet, but it's just fair to other applicants that we do this, the correct way. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
Appreciate your coming back.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Any thoughts on approving or
I see.
moving this item?
I don't see any weaknesses. I'm actually very thrilled and glad that it's more thorough. It's not just a number out there like last time. At least we know what we're looking at. And I'm very happy that they actually took the window project out. At least there was thought put into that. I don't see any problems with it.
No, I'm perfectly fine with the proposal.
I am fine with the proposal. Mr. Cornell?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm happy. I was able to read the report by the architect Osborne. Everything seems to be in order. It's a priority item. I'm happy they were able to change this and put that on top. And I'm very comfortable with the change order, and there's no further discussions by any of us, and I'm happy to make a motion for this.
Please.
I move that we accept the change as recommended by staff for the scope to have the roofing repairs and extend the deadline to June 30th, 2012, and any difference in funds to be reprogrammed for 2012, 2013.
We have a second?
I'll go ahead and second that.
I'll take roll call. Committee members Cornell,
Yes.
Obanesian,
Yes.
Olivares,
Yes.
Sinanian is absent, Chair Markarian.
Yes.
Item 3B, motion to approve request by the Glendale Police Department to transfer the CDBG award for the fiscal year 2011-12 Glendale Police Activities League PAL program to the Glendale YMCA.
Thank you. Do we have a report on that?
Sure. Just Madam Chair, members of the committee, this is a kind of a unique, we've had just unique changes in this beginning of the year already, but this is yes, it's a change, my own change. This is another unique project where we have a request by the Glendale Police Department to, and I would use the word modify, transfer, and to collaborate with the Glendale YMCA for the Police Activities League, which, if you remember in the past, includes the boxing training program and also included the equestrian training program for the girls, junior high girls. This year has been very challenging in the budget process, and one of the directions that we got from the City Council was to look at an alternative for the PAL program to operate its boxing program and other type of programs with a nonprofit that might make it more economically feasible, especially during this budget year. And the discussion led to meetings with the YMCA of Glendale, which operates martial art programs related to Glendale YMCA here on Louis Street, and also utilizes a boxing trainer sometime that works at the Burbank YMCA. And the thought was to integrate the police activities program with YMCA youth recreation programs that are already existing, and put those two efforts together and make one YMCA Police Department PAL program. Now, it is going to be, the way it's being set up, it be operated by the YMCA as the administrative end of the program, and Police Department will support the program with officer presence and working with the YMCA on referrals and mentoring some of the kids. We do have members of the Police Department and the YMCA here for questions, but I'll just give you a quick rundown of what it would look like. It would still be a boxing training program, as noted in the memo. However, there will be some slight differences right now as they work on space. So we will not have, for example, the boxing ring, but there will be shadow boxing and jump ropes and heavy bags and speed bags, training runs, because there's a track up on top of the YMCA. So it'll be very similar, but it'll also be a reduced program, a number of days. It is now a 3-day program. Part of it was that the PAL program did receive some reduced funding this year, so they really can only run a part-time 3-day-a-week boxing training program, which would have occurred anyways with some of the funding reductions, which we saw from the federal government reducing the CDBG block grant program. The other component, which is the equestrian program, will not be operated by the YMCA or the police department. Unfortunately, that was a large part of the grant, a large cost to the grant, and also a large component of the police department budget, which had, of course, had to reduce some budget reductions as well. So that program is not part of this PAL program. However, it has been noted with the YMCA that they're able to provide some assistance as far as providing some of the girls that participated in some of the equestrian programs or would want to participate in the PAL program but do not want to do boxing. They would be doing dance, hip-hop, I believe it's swimming, other type of activities that would cater to girls and boys. Again, boys do take dance classes and hip-hop, and so it'd be a very physical education type of activity. It would still be, again, managed and operated by the YMCA with their in-kind services as far as providing the instructor for that. CDBG will pay for the boxing end of the program, which includes the boxing equipment and also the boxing trainer and some utilities expenses and other operational expenses and printing supplies. So, by and all, we feel as staff that this has worked out to be a very good cooperative program. It is the YMCA's first time in receiving block grant funds. The staff has already done some application process with their audit, their insurance, their the board of directors and their financial capacity, and we feel that this is a very strong organization with over 85 years of experience in programs. The director has been here for certainly a short amount of time, but he's been very diligent in working with the community and working with the city to embrace some of the activities we're doing and also to enhance their YMCA program. So I think it works out as certainly as a pilot program for this year, and we do, depending on the committee's recommendation, do need to present it to City Council so the Council knows that it is being recommended or not for approval to transfer this program. I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions on this program, so we do have the police department and the YMCA here, but so far it's been, last few months has been really a lot of meetings and working out all the details for this program.
Thank you. Anyone from, I see that you're from the police department. Thank you. You can come forward.
Before that, can I ask a question of Moises? Is only the PAL program that would have to go back to City Council because it was a City Council issue of...
Mr. Olivares, members of the committee, yes, they, because we have a change in sponsorship, our original, what's called our action plan, our list of agencies did not include the YMCA. That will need to go to council, which was different than legal services, which is just a change in scope. So it would go to council and public comment as well.
Thank you.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Again, Mr. Correa really went into detailed explaining, and I'm very pleased to see that YMCA is collaborating with police department. I mean, they have a great success record, years of experience, and this kind of collaboration is something we really would like to see within our organizations. And all I see is change of location. I mean, I see that the scope is remaining, the mission is remaining the same. To provide, this service is very important, and there are minor changes in the scope of the program, which we understand because of the budget cuts. But as long as we're offering the same kind of service, boxing, and especially with having a police officer present during those practices, so it's very important. And I think it was a genius idea. Whoever the councilman or woman presented this idea was great because, again, seeing two organizations collaborate, it opens doors for future collaboration. So I am thrilled that at least we're continuing this service to the community, whether through police department or through YMCA. So I'm just very happy to see that this continues.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's been difficult for us to keep up something that's been truly a love for many of the officers in the department, to watch it, the administration part of it become somewhat cumbersome, especially in light of budget cuts recently. And it's really a godsend to have the YMCA lend some of that administrative capability to us and the tremendous amount of resources. So I think it will be a great partnership.
Yes, it will be. Anyone else? Mr. Olivares?
Yeah, thank you. I've always loved this program for over the years, and I do have a couple of concerns. I'm really glad at the way that the two organizations are working together. I mean, you're saving a very good program, but I do have one concern.
Yes,
The crux of that program was the boxing ring, And I recall going a number of times to see the program, and it was just wonderful to see the kids in the ring. It's sort of playing soccer in the soccer field and, racing a car at the racetrack kind of thing. I know the program will be different. I understand the limitations, but is there a plan to bring this back in the future to its full scope?
Yes, sir. It's our intention to, George is here with us as well from the YMCA. He's actually moving some space around to accommodate the ring that currently belongs to the PAL program will be moved over to the Y
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
hopefully placed somewhere within the YMCA physical building itself.
Okay, I'm very glad to hear that. Other than that, really, I'm so glad that you stepped up and all of you got together to save this program because these are special kids, and that brings me to another thought that I had. It's not really a concern. Now, the kids that go to this program, they're disadvantaged kids. They have certain ethnicities. They might be, I might be wrong. They might be a slightly different economic culture than what perhaps goes to the YMCA at the moment. Is that seen as an issue?
We actually had extensive discussions about that very issue, sir. There is some concern there, in as much as that we are going to have to tweak a little bit some of the YMCA's procedures for allowing sponsorship type activities for our current clientele. But I think we've overcome those. And as is mentioned in the staff report, there still is a mechanism for school officials, police officers to refer children into the program. We also do think there is going to be some benefits, though, of having some of the current YMCA members be involved in boxing alongside some of our people. So there might be some positive mentorships that happen there. But the crux of the police component of it is still going to be members of our community who may be disadvantaged to some degree, and bringing them, somewhere to some activity after school that has some positive reinforcement to it.
Great. Those are my thoughts. And again, I'm glad that you're saving the program, and can't wait to go visit it whenever our scheduled visit is. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we should have an event definitely to include all of you and those in the community who have been so supportive over the years. We will definitely do something like that.
Thank you.
I'd love to speak about this. Probably my favorite topic I'm going to be able to talk about this whole year. Reason being is I was actually raised through this program. I did the boxing program with Officer Martikian back 15, 16, 17 years ago. I did all of the YMCA trips to Catalina Island for 3 days, 4 days, the camping trips. So this touches a very sensitive part. The program works. I was raised through the program. It is a wonderful program. I'm so happy that you guys are actually still keeping that program going. And I'm very excited to see that I can play a role and actually help that program go on. I'd be more than happy to support the program in any possible way. It is working. Some of my best childhood memories are because of the boxing programs and because of the YMCA camping programs. So I applaud you guys. Thank you for taking time and doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much, sir.
Seems like you may have a volunteer here.
I'd love to. I'd be more than happy to do that. But yeah, it is wonderful. You know what? One question I did have, when we were going camping with the YMCA, the group was always extensive. It was always great. We never had any problems. Is the groups getting bigger, the boxing programs, or do you think it's getting bigger and more supportive, or is it getting smaller? Because I'd hate to see it getting smaller.
You mean the boxing program in general, or the YMCA?
Well,
program?
just overall, the boxing programs and the YMCA programs.
Speaking about the boxing program, to be very frank with you, I do think we did see some drop-off in participation, but it's my belief that that's because there are a couple components. One, we got very busy at the police department. When our resources diminished, I think the love wasn't being felt, perhaps. I also think, to be very frank, that the facility at the old police station's basement wasn't the most attractive site. So I think I think that this new partnership is an enhancement on both those levels, and that'll help a lot. But as far as YMCA programs, George, did you want to address that?
Good afternoon.
Nice to have you.
Be here. As far as boxing, I'm also a former boxer and a martial artist, and I'm the one when I was the CEO at the Burbank YMCA, we started the boxing program, and today they have over 100 kids in the program.
It's wonderful.
The way we do it is really, you have to find a good coach who cares about the kids, and then the training is a byproduct. And sometimes a lot of kids have what we call burnout syndrome. And basically, I'm too tired doing boxing. It happened to me too. So we have judo, we have other types of martial arts that they will have access to, then they can come back to boxing. The whole idea with the YMCA is we're really working hard with the city to keep kids off the streets and give them good, positive alternatives so they become future leaders. That's the bottom line.
Excellent.
I think that the newly renovated youth lobby on Wilson and Louise we just finished would provide the exposure that is lacking where the program used to be. Plus, we have at least 3,000 kids that come to the Y, and we're not exactly in the upper class neighborhood in Glendale. We do have our own kids who will benefit from the program. So.
Yeah. And I think you do cater to different socioeconomic levels. And
Yes.
So.
Well, you know what? Just to bring out another point. It was unfortunate. I hated to see the DARE program go away. But the YMCA and this boxing program, believe it or not, it really helps these children. It puts a different mindset. I remember as a child not making sure I think twice before I did anything wrong because I had to go and do the boxing program with police officers and everything. So it really gets into their heads and it's really helpful. I hope you guys keep this going. If there's anything I can do or any one of us could do, I'm sure we'd be more than happy to do.
Mr. Cornell, any questions?
Yeah. I appreciate your coming here. Thank you for your time. Like Mr. Veras, I'm a fan of yours. I've always supported you, especially with the police department. It's incredible that after reading the chief's letter here that they've been cut 53%, and with that kind of cut, of course, it's going to waver here in the ripple effect, and it comes down to this. Just a couple concerns. One with the membership that you have, plus what the police department is going to get at the 3 schools that they've been recruiting at. We're going to have pretty much a waiting line to get into this. And my other concern is one of the things that I enjoyed why I supported this is the police presence in uniform so that the kids can develop a bond and not be afraid and run when they see an officer in uniform. And with the cut, I understand there's going to be some presence. I was wondering if someone is going to be in uniform, because I think that is paramount in the resume here to gain that bond to see an officer in uniform as well as the program itself.
We're really looking forward to it. I agree with all your comments. We're kind of having a late start, depending on your approval and the council. We usually start the promos and programs like this around September, the beginning of the school year, but we're going to do the best we can. Once we get the approval, we're going to really be working very hard. I don't know if I can speak on your behalf. Promoting the program. The program uniqueness, when I was approached first about this program, and which was very intriguing to me, is that number one, it's a form of an after-school program, where kids really get in trouble between 3 to 6. Studies have always shown that. We're providing alternatives to the kids that are healthy. At the same time, hopefully we'll reduce crime and they have a better relationship with the police department. It's a very good program. Now, some of the kids may not be interested in boxing, I'll tell you right now, or they might have what I said before, burnout syndrome. We will be giving them other options. The girls right now, we're just starting the Dance and Art Academy at Tawai as a form of after school between 3 to 6, and we're going to have drama, we're going to have creative art, we're going to have hip hop, we're going to have dance with Darcel, who was a leading dancer with Solid Gold, if you remember that show. So we have a lot of alternatives, plus open swim, among other gatherings that we have. So we're providing an extensive menu of options. So that way, kids will always have things to do. And if they're not into sports, we're trying to find ways to have them express themselves via art, via chess, via other activities.
One other concern here that I see The equipment that's now in the police department, is that CDBG equipment? And I see you don't have a venue yet until the location of Wilson is renovated. And until that time, why can't the old police building be used until that time?
Actually, Mr. Commissioner, they're renovating the old police building. They're kicking us out by the end of the month. So this is actually, the timing's just dynamite on this. All the equipment that we have currently will be going to the Y, and including the ring itself, for storage to be ready to be put up when the space becomes available.
Oh, fine.
One last question. How many kids are you currently serving, I mean, under this program, and would they be all transferred? And I know that what we funded, 13,000 plus, I mean, this is not a whole lot. So if you are promoting the program out there, do you have other means to raise funds?
Yes, we do. We'll be talking about this with the police department too. We do raise money all year long, and a lot of people give based on cause.
Okay.
And this might be a whole new venue that a lot of folks in town are passionate about. And we will do fundraisers to expand, but I got to be honest with you, we're a very private, we stand alone organization, we have to survive. And I got to do the programs within our budgetary means, and I'm sure you understand that. But as far as I know, we were going to do the boxing program anyway for our members because I'm passionate about it and I saw it in Burbank. And this happened, I don't know if any of you gentlemen and lady know Garin, who started, he's a boxing promoter. He's a member at the Y, and I was talking with him, and he was the liaison that he said, hey, you know, the city folks in the police department would like to talk with you because you and I were talking about starting a youth boxing program. So that's...
timing was right.
Yeah, timing was very right from both sides, and mission-wise, it fits perfectly. And we're not... this is a good problem to have. If we have too many kids, I'd love to have that be in this situation. It's a good problem to have.
Great. Thank you.
Is your sergeant, I'm trying to think of his name, it's a Hispanic name.
Oscar Rodriguez?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Will he still be involved in this cycle as far as on a liaison basis?
Yeah, not as much as he had been before. Before he had been the actual liaison and overseer of the program. He's recently been assigned to a narcotics detail, so it's very difficult to get our hands on him periodically. So he will still be involved as one of the counselors, but he won't be the head of it any longer.
Okay, fine.
And that's another reason why we needed to bring in added resources too, because we lost some of our some of the people, like you mentioned, Sergeant Mardikian, Lieutenant Brooks, Sergeant Rodriguez, Officer Williams, people who brought this to where it is, have all kind of gone on to other things. So it's a nice time for us in the Y. And for my main task to address another issue, Mr. Cornell, that you mentioned, is my main goal is to bring new officers in too. New officers with different experiences, with interests. And you mentioned the uniform. Yeah, I plan on having them in uniform, but I also plan on having them there in shorts and t-shirts out there actually, working with the kids too. So we're going to have a good blend of both those things. Yeah,
so unfortunately the public doesn't see your contributions and so on. They only see when you issue a citation. Your department should be commended. Many of your colleagues, I know for one, Corporal Shoeshine that I work with up in our association in Rancho, as well as here at CDBG and what she does, and many others. I don't want to leave anyone out here, but that is why I had mentioned a police presence, because I know the sergeant has been very involved with this. It's his passion. He enjoys it. He has a good rapport with the kids. He teaches them basic values. They look up to him. And when they look up to him, they don't look at him as an officer, but as a good friend. And that is the kind of transfer that I like to see when it's made, that it continues. And I'm happy to see that it will be.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I appreciate your time also.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other thoughts?
with that, I'm ready to make a motion and
Okay, please.
approve it as recommended by staff.
I'll second it.
Committee members Cornell,
Yes.
Oganessian,
Yes.
Olivares,
Yes.
Sinanian is absent, Chair Markarian.
Yes.
Item 4, other business.
Do we have other business?
Excuse me. Madam Chair, members of the committee, I just wanted to make an announcement that the CDBG unit and the housing unit of the city of Glendale will be doing a community meeting public hearing for the coming next fiscal year program. Again, this is our annual community meeting with the residents to get direct feedback from the needs of the community. Knowing certainly the challenges, the economic challenge we have this year, we'll be interested to see how from last year that compares. We know we've been doing some survey work. We know that job training, job employment has been really, even on youth and adults, has been the number one priority. But we want to get feedback from the community. The meeting is on Thursday, September 22nd at 7 p.m. At Mann Elementary School in the cafeteria, and we break out into different classrooms. But again, it's September 22nd on Thursday at 7 p.m. at Mann Elementary School at 501 East Acacia Avenue. And we'll have translation there for the community. Certainly encourage all the community members to come and make their needs known. It's going to be a very challenging year again with the budget, the federal budget, and we'll certainly want to hear feedback from the community on what are the needs or what are any changing needs from the community.
That's Mann Elementary School?
Yes.
Okay.
And as it's your usual habit, Iris will probably send us an email asking us if we're going to be there, right?
Yes,
Yes.
probably.
Right. Do we have any public communications?
No, I don't have any cards.
Cards? Okay.
I have a
Announcements?
couple announcements, Madam Chair. Glendale Healthy Kids is having a, let's see, what is it, October 1st. They're having the renowned chef October Becerra there, and it looks like it's going to be a good one. And for all information, I'd like to have you contact GHK at 548-7931, and they'll be happy to give you all the details, what's going on, what's being served, the various wines, and so on. It should be a fun night. One of our also vendors that we service is the Path Achieve. They're having something at the ABC Broadcast Center. And let's see, that will be September 10th. And for their information, you can contact them at 409-3334. Christine Hanna can answer all your questions. And both of those numbers I gave you are in Glendale and an 818 area code.
Thank you, Mr. Cornell. I think if we don't have any other business, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Such a professional.